Yeah, that's what
Academic support versus.
I'm about to do that right
Oh,
now.
okay.
So
Okay, sorry.
I'm a teacher, I'm down with this. I teach regular students like you guys do. Institutional support, I'll start here, is upper level admin. President, vice president, provost, only them, nothing else, no interline. Academic support is a mixture. It has deans, associate deans, but it also has all the costs of the library and the librarians there. So good stuff and other stuff. All, like that, other. All mixed. I'm sure there are deans here, God bless you. All mixed in the same one. Student services, admissions, student orgs, but there's a combination of directly serving students and administrative functions in there as well. Public service, competent institutes, the PR arm of the university, auxiliaries we talked about. The academic administrators do not go in here. The academic admins are mostly in here. And the upper level academic admins are in here. So that's what they do. So, look, Andy, you mentioned the research, even though it's gone up over time, as a percentage of the total. So I have the top panel of the dollars and millions. The bottom panel, that's at 38%, I rounded up on the other slide. So 213 million is 37.5% of the total pie. Research, you can see the percentage is in the, it's pretty low. It's pretty low compared to the others. And it looks as if institutional support is getting lower, but we're going to dig in a second and see what's going on. So, Andrew was nice enough to get me the 2015 IPEDS data. The way IPEDS data works is, if Andrew did not give that to me, I did not see it on IPEDS website until early 2017. But they submitted it in April when they had it, and so I was very, it's to me, I get it. I'm like a kid in a candy store getting that stuff. So you sent me that file, that email that had all those attachments. I was very pleased to get them. So here's instruction. Instruction is made up, there's a 213 million, right? Salaries and benefits are fine. Plant, depreciation, interest, and the dreaded other. What is other? It could be consultants. Maybe they hire consultants here. It could be IT costs. It's hard to know. But what's interesting is that over time, the other component seems to be getting bigger. Not that salaries are not, but notice how benefits, we talked about this morning, notice how benefits are not increasing that much. Benefits have two big components, retirement and healthcare. Retirement is going to move directly with salary, 10, 11%, something like that. You see, so you see the same. Now when I see this, there's two conclusions I can make. Number one, their healthcare costs are not going up that much. Number two, increasingly they're using faculty who are not getting health benefits. Adjunct faculty, who I do not believe are getting health benefits, but hopefully they're fighting for those. And they're going to get them over there. Who knows when or if, but hopefully that will happen. So, and that's why you see that. You see how this, you see my point? This is not going up while that is. And we'll look at the numbers to confirm that. The numbers of who's teaching the classes here will confirm that conclusion, as we'll see in just 2 minutes. So this is the upper level admins. Notice how the other category gets smaller. So it looks like the upper level admin costs are going down, but the salary costs of them are actually increasing. What's driving the total result down is a decrease in the other category of admins. So you say to yourself, well, this is the instruction other in red going up every Christmas Eve, if I may. And the green is institutional support. Is this intentional? I have no idea. It just is. They're making institutional support look smaller and making instruction look bigger. Looking at the categories other than salaries and benefits within these two. Which is why we tend to focus on the salary component of it. So I know there's a lot of numbers here, but I'm making you, you're sitting through this one for 2 minutes. So I'm not going past it. Instructional salaries plus benefits as a percent of total forwarding expenses. So this is paying people to teach as a percent of the whole thing. The public thinks that's 90%. right? They think we're 90%, don't they think we're 90% of everything? 30.6%.
Is that including the adjunct salaries?
Yes. Yes. And so that's why it's going down. There's been an increasing use of adjuncts over this period, as we'll see. And that, look at this percentage, yeah, it's small. And by the way, peers, same, very similar, also. Instructional salaries and benefits as a percentage of total salaries and benefits. So here the denominator is all the expenses, whether lights, keeping the grounds nice, which are very nice here, all that kind of stuff. This denominator is just everybody who gets paid. So the second one is, what is the percentage of compensation of everyone that gets paid for the people who teach? And it's barely half. And this is the way it is everywhere. We always say it should at least be half. You know, in many places it's less than half. In the peers, Fordham's right in the middle. So, but again, it's going down. And here is just, here I took out benefits, same kind of thing. And here, this is the upper level admins. So their salaries as a percentage of total salaries is actually going up. So think about it. Just looking at salaries that people get paid, the percentage of salaries, which is what it's all about, of people who teach is going down, the percentage of the salaries of the admins is going up. You tell me whether you think that's okay. Yes?
Can you speak to the ratio between the two? So instructional salary at 130 million versus upper level admin at 34?
Yeah, I think the ratio is right here. I think the ratio is 50 of the salaries, 52% of the salaries teaching, 13.7 or 14% to admin. This is a tad higher compared to peers, but not out of line higher. And by the way, this trend up and down everywhere. Why? Every place is doing the same thing Fordham's doing. Relying, when faculty leave, they're not replacing them with full-time faculty. We see solid enrollment numbers here, but not the enrollment increases or stable enrollments. And I know enrollments are different in colleges and programs, but overall the numbers are solid here. You have a good number of students here, and the enrollment changes are solid. Overall, this ratio, as you point out, I mean, just look at the ratio. I mean, to ask you, look at the ratio here, 54 to 12, and now it's 52 to 14. That may not seem like a lot. That's a couple of $1 million. You know, and Andrew spoke at the beginning about no agreement between the administration and the faculty. That difference, if they kept that ratio the way it was then, that would more than equal the difference you guys are fighting over. And so these are the kind of things you guys could be using. Why can't we just have the ratio we had? I like that you bring up that. Why can't we just have the ratio between faculty and admin we had in 08? Or even here, 12. Why can't we do that? And then you get us to that ratio, share the money, and that's it. So I think that's why I'm spending time with this number slide, because it really does tell the story. And that's all. So this is the annual percentage change in instruction versus institutional support salaries. So institution, admin's bigger, instruction bigger, admin. Why are those salaries going up year after year faster than instruction? What? And it's just not right. Are you guys surprised at it? As a team, I'm sensing this silence / dread. You guys surprised about this? You pissed off? Resigned? We're going to talk about what to do about it. Okay. Well, hey, even more, long-term changes. So from 8 to 15, and I broke it up into sub-periods. Same story. So now let's look at number of employees. So these are the faculty salaries, this is the AUP faculty salary survey. These are pretty solid increases year after year. These are full associate assistants. These are the other categories of people over time. And these are the average annual changes. And I'll say this, and we're going to look at this versus the peers. You guys have, as a faculty in the statutes, a mechanism to talk to the administration about salary. A formal, not informal, a formal mechanism to talk. It doesn't work the way you would always like, as I heard today, many times and before today. But you have that mechanism, and the way to deal with it is to act collectively. And I'll say this again when we look at the adjunct issue. You can't be a union here because of yeshiva. I'm not going to get into all that, but I think you all understand that. But you can act like one. You can act together, and you can stand with other people who are trying to form a union here. And I'm not saying you throw, you're not going to storm the gates, but you act together. You act as one. Because a couple of people talking and complaining, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. You have to act. You care about this place. You guys are here forever. You guys are not leaving. I mean, are you guys leaving? Where are you guys going? Are you the first one? How many years were you on that committee? Tell me again. 30. Where are you going? You going anywhere? No, I'm the same way. I'm stuck where I am. I'm not leaving. I mean, there's no way I'm leaving. But we love it. You love the place, don't you? You love the place. You guys care about this place. You care about the students. So you're not acting collectively to take anything down. You're acting collectively to make it better. To make it better, to enhance the commitment to these students. And we're going to look at graduation rates, and they're pretty good here. Did you see that sticker price? It is a lot of money to go to school here. And we're not doing enough for all the students here. And I think a lot more could be done. So here are the annual percentage changes. The lecturers do the worst. The ones that get paid the least do the worst. They don't have the voice that faculty have. And that's unfortunate. But that's what voice does. Voice results. You see the voice. Long-term percentage changes compared to inflation. So inflation is green. I use the CPIU of New York. And so you have beat inflation over all this long period and the sub-periods. Not by much, but inflation's been pretty tame, even locally, for the last several years. Donald J gets in there, who knows what's going to happen, but you guys know who he is? Look, I'm a New Yorker, he's a New Yorker, you guys are New Yorkers. Didn't we all know him as what he is? Haven't we known him forever? So what's the surprise? Yes?
I just want to point out that your salary number increases are not actually reflecting the increase to individuals at this institution, but the increase that the university is spending on salaries for a particular line. And what we have seen is they've gone out and hired full professors at $400,000, which brings the average up, which makes those numbers look larger. We'd be very happy to have those kinds of percentage increases and seize inflation by those numbers. We are not.
Well, let me say this. That point's very well taken. Let me say this. To me, what I urge you to do is use medians, not means. I don't see at the AUP when they report stuff, we're using means. Why can't we? What you're telling me is that the mean is going to be a lot higher than the median.
We just tried that one last
Much
year,
higher.
and the board insisted on sticking with
Okay, all right, you tried it, but what did you find? Did you find that the medians work?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so great. So you found that the medians aren't as good as the means, and they didn't listen to you. Okay, so you know what? You're going to say it again, and you're going to say it with a lot of voice, with a whole large AUP chapter behind you, and you're going to say it again, and you're going to say it next year. And eventually, they're going to listen.
Because we have basically been equal with inflation.
And
Which is CPI in New York.
and so what you should, if I give you advice, I'm show them this and show them what the medians look like, and show them both and say, look, come on, they're reasonable people. Okay, not really, but let's just think who they are.
Let me just, because there's an audience here and because this topic is coming up. So the university made a commitment, I don't know how many years ago, 20-something years ago.
Mid-80s.
Mid-80s, to get us to the 80th percentile of the AAP Category 1 institutions. And for the longest time, we couldn't get there. And we got raises that were larger, so we eventually got there. And then they figured out they had a new way of getting us.
To hire these, to hire
That's
hire
exactly what
stars.
they did. So our raises have gone down, but they have exceeded it. And now they're arguing in the last meeting we had that they're actually talking about bringing us back to the 80th percentile because we're at the 90th percentile. So they don't have to give us any money because we're at the 80th percentile, or we have to give back something in terms of our benefits. So I think that when the people in the room see these
All right, I'll make this pledge to you. I'm not leaving New York. I'll make this pledge. Give me the numbers, I'll make a chart with the same colors as the medians. I'll do it for you, I'm very good at making choices. I have no help at all. And even with the new Excel, I figured it out, hold on. So, you know, I'm so old, I was using loads, remember slash, 1, 2, 3, none? Yeah, that's how old I am. You're too young, this guy's too young to know that. But seriously, no, seriously, I mean that, because you're harping on it, but it's important. You're harping on it, but it's critical. Because you're talking about where most people live, where most people are. And when you're telling me this is not representing the majority of the people. But this is the data that they're submitting.
And this is the data that
And they're
they're
not-
arguing, and this is the data that they're
Using
using to say, we don't
to
need
take
to
money,
do
to
any
take money out of the pockets of
That's right.
people and their families. And so it's critical. So I don't, you know I'm not,
No,
and I would love to help you create this so we could show them side by side how different that is. I think that'd be very powerful. To show them both would be very powerful. And after that, I can't, you know, that's up to them, but at least we showed. Yes, another, yes, another.
Two other arguments that have come forth, and you've made one statement, that the healthcare benefits are just skyrocketing.
I didn't say that, they said that.
They said that, but you're saying they're remaining the same. And the second piece is that any raises is because they're giving the money away for scholarships, and that we're taking money away from student scholarships.
Well, I mean, look, the way, let's take both of those arguments. And so let's use the data to make those arguments. So this is the benefits paid for instruction over the last 4 years. So the way to attack it is and I heard this is being discussed earlier by people on the faculty salary and ethics committee. The people on the faculty senate, the faculty members on that committee are trying to get faculty-specific healthcare cost data to figure out within this line what's healthcare. But you can just see, looking at the numbers, there's not an explosion of healthcare costs here. There's not. This is benefits paid for faculty. It's just not happening. The other thing is we put on top of that all the surveys that are out there now, PwC, Aon, Hewitt, Mercer, all these healthcare consulting firms are predicting what healthcare inflation is going to be for 2017. All of them are in the 5, 6, and 7% range. And so if we could show, first, what they've been here, show the inflation here versus nationally over the last 7 years, and you'll just probably see it's in line with national numbers. And then say, okay, nationally it's only expected to go 4 or 5. Why are you talking to us about 15? Is that what I heard today?
With 22, that they were able to argue down to 15.
Argue with themselves down to 15.
On a national rate of 5.
On a national rate of 5.
Great
So, again, information you guys bring, and I know that the people are very interested in getting that data, and I was going to share the national data with them. The other thing on the student scholarship money, well, on the revenue side, again, I mean, yes, financial aid is going up, and so what matters to them, they're getting more dollars. The argument to make to them, yes, you're giving more aid, but you're collecting more tuition. Your tuition revenue, your net tuition revenue keeps going up. Yes, you give more aid, but the sticker price is higher and there's more students. So we love students getting more aid, but don't say you're out. It's not zero, it's not us. This is an increasing number, the net number is going up. And that's what matters. And that's why I can't wait to see the 16 number. The 16 net tuition fee, which I'm sure is going to be higher than what's there at 50. So this is the salaries versus the peers. 40's in the middle in all the categories, these peers. So I don't know about 90%, but this is where they think. So what I did here was just, and again, I understand we have a problem here of the average not reporting the truth. This is, I use Brooklyn, not Manhattan. Bronx is not a choice, so I have nothing against the Bronx. No, relatives grew up here, it's nothing against the Bronx. So if you make 100,000 in New York, 84,000 in DC, 82,000 in Boston, 69 in Philadelphia, 67,000, and then I'm surprised it's that high. 61,000. Now we were talking earlier. I think we were talking. Yes, when we make these arguments to them, they couldn't care less about this. However, it's still relevant, isn't it? You guys all live here. You guys are commuting from here. Hope not. So, all right. This is the aspirin peers and kind of mixing them in. You can see Fordham's toward the bottom of this list, just to be expected. These are the dollar changes from 12 to 16, last 4 years. It would have worked no matter what year you were. Same. So versus the fulls have actually done better versus the peers. So that means from 12 to 16, the fulls have done a little better toward the peers. It goes in line with the argument that you're making. So, and that also goes right in line because the people who are getting those big ones are the fulls. And so you can see the other groups are losing ground versus their peers. The assistants, the associates, this is versus the affluent peers losing versus all of them. Maybe not as relevant, but still pretty relevant. So I think your argument about this is artificially higher than it should be, than reality is borne out here as well. Behind all this is the change in who's teaching classes here. Coming from various different sources. You can see full-time, and full-time includes non-tenure track people, and I'll break them down in a second. So it includes all full-time teachers, and the graph speaks for itself. You guys know this is happening because you feel it. In your departments, you know it's happening. When people leave, sometimes they're replaced, sometimes they're not. And sometimes they're replaced with full-time lecturers, sometimes they're replaced with part-time people, sometimes they're replaced not at all. And classes just get bigger, or the classes don't get full, or someone gets an overload, or all those things happen. And obviously, I saw this article, and I think this is great. I think you made demands, and I think, as I said earlier, I think the faculty who, for legal reasons, cannot unionize, can certainly act collectively, could work with these groups, because we should, if people want a union, they should have one. Now, the university, I understand this is a Jesuit institution. I went to school here, constitutional law professor. My first year was a Catholic priest. I get it. I understand the culture here. But I don't, what happened at Georgetown, where a Jesuit school, where they recognized the adjuncts without any serious persuasion, they said, okay, if this group of workers wants a union, we will recognize and work with it. That's what should happen. And it's the moral and the right thing to do, and let's all work to make it happen. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hopefully you guys care about that, even if it's not you're the ones who are unionized. So this is the changes in faculty, part-time faculty, full-time faculty enrollment over this long period of time.
I just have one clarification. Does part-time faculty include graduate instructors, or is it only, people who are not, where the student workers?
Yeah. From where I sit, it does. I think in the common data set and in there, in Fordham's fact book, I believe they are. And I think you pointed out to me, can you give me that statistic again that you showed me before?
14% of undergraduate sections are taught by graduate students, and 23% of the professors of rhetoric in arts and sciences courses are graduates.
That's significant, and that probably is increasing over time. The common data set does not distinguish, but graduate students are considered part-time employees. And that was the whole NLRB case, right? Our graduate students, but of course, we know they are. Maybe it's not an issue, but I guess it is. But luckily, we have a friendly NLRB. It was a great decision. It came out third week in August. I think it came out. AEP's done a lot of good stuff with that decision. If you look at our website, you'll see a great analysis of it. But recently, it was our general counsel who works at Cornell. So we're very much into that. So these are the numbers of broken down. So full associate assistant rank and then instructor lecturer, no rank. That's the three categories they use. And so this is the way the graph looks. So you can see the blue is assistant professors. The red, the instructors. And within this category, the lecturer's rank is doubled in this time. There's been a decline in assistant professors from 200 to 150, specifically from 203 to 150. When you don't, assistant professors bring not just their youth, energy, new ideas to a campus. And when you see this kind of decline in a major institution like this, that's a problem. And I think it needs to be addressed. Yes?
It seems like the tenure track positions are in decline. Maybe one can look at the percentage of tenure track positions.
Well, yeah, we could do that. I mean, your point's well taken. I mean, these are basically tenure track and these are not. So it's basically, I mean, to go back here. Sorry. I mean, that's part-time. Let me go, I guess I gotta do it here. Right here. I mean, right here, these are tenure track and these are not. These are full-time. These are only full-time employees. So you can see 59 to 104, and these numbers have come down. These have gone up a little. But in total, when you add these three up compared to that, it's definitely been an increase in non-tenure track. And the lecturer position, which is a full-time non-tenure track, the ones that teach 4 per term, that's the category that's done. Over the 60.
At the expense of tenure track.
To me, it doesn't have to be that way, but yes. Yes, sir?
The declining assistants and the increasing associate could be explained in part by the tenure
Let me talk about that. Your point's well taken. So let's look at these numbers a little deeper. I think some of this is people moving from here to here. But then, I mean, look at this here. We have associates going down by 20, fulls going up by 15, and assistants, I mean, look at this. Oh, that doesn't explain all. I think some of it is people, assistants, moving up, getting promoted. But some of it is definitely as this group leaves, dies, retires, moves on, and as this group leaves, they're not all being replaced. There's no doubt. Because this group is going to move on. The assistant professors, I mean, you know, with less hiring, my guess is when you guys are doing a hiring department, you probably get a lot of applications for a position. Is that you guys laughing? Is that fair to say? And you get some really, really good people that you guys are hiring. I bet you've been hiring some really, not that you guys aren't great also, but you guys are hiring people you're like, holy cow, look at this. You know, they've done, and they're probably getting tenure, and they're probably able to move up and get promoted, but there's less of that happening. It's not like there's no hiring going on, but I think in biology you mentioned there were 21, now there's 15, I think you made that statement, right? So I think every department is that little bit of erosion of the tenure track faculty. I bet department by department, and it adds up to this.
At the same time, the number of students is going up.
At the same time, the number of students go up. All right, maybe I have some good news here. Let's see. No. Okay, number of employees. Number of management employees is going up. There you go. Okay. I'll just let you stay. This comes from the most recent 990 which is available. These are positions. You know, I've spoken for like an hour and 15 minutes. You didn't listen to a slide, not a word I said. You didn't listen to it. I put this up, you're like, ooh. Ooh. You guys love this one.
I'd like to mention that a number of those salaries are higher than the salaries of comparable people at Columbia and NYU.
Look, I
take only 2 examples.
You know, and I got asked this morning, I didn't show it to you, but we're not that different than our peers. Again, sadly, the 7 peers we have, the provost makes maybe 20,000 more. The CFO, that's a little high, but the others, the development person, these enrollment people, they're all making the 3s and 4s at these places. Why? Well, I don't know. These are the means of these top admins. These are the faculty. So you can see what the faculty full associate assistants are. This is a calendar year W-2. And those are academic years, so you can see there's a difference. I think, you asked about ratio. So the ratio between the top and the faculty is a tad higher. They're making not quite, if you look at an average faculty overall, they're making more than 3 times more. That's a lot.
Salary or percentage?
Theirs is not, it's whatever on the W-2, so the benefits aren't going to be there. So you don't put retirement benefits in there, you don't put healthcare in there, just what's on their W-2. All right, enough of that.
Howard? In addition to the retirement and salary, is there any way we can find out what other kinds of benefits administrators are getting?
Yeah, the 990, to the extent it's listed in the 990. So if there's housing, if any of these top guys are getting housing, cars, first class travel, and all, by the way, they get all of that. Country club, all that's in it.
It wouldn't be itemized.
It's written.
It's written out, you can see
It's
it
in
on
the
the
notes.
guys, whatever they get.
It's written. Yes, in the back, go ahead.
I was gonna ask on the previous slide when you had, I think it was the previous slide, when you actually have the faculty salaries, just to understand that, first of all, I'm assuming that those are means, not medians on that side.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, that includes, for law, for, Good Valley School.
Law,
includes
yes.
everything? Yeah. Do we have data to break that down?
I personally don't, you guys probably do. But I imagine the law school faculties are higher. That's my guess. I think that's what you're getting. Yeah, I get it. All right, so these, I compared the last year I had, the last year I had a 09-14, for people I had, these aren't, they're not necessarily the same individuals, but these are the same positions. And you can see, in total, they got 20 and 19% raises. The faculty, and again, this goes, again, and I didn't pick up on this until you said it this morning, you can see the full getting so much better. That does really go in line with your idea, not theory, but fact, that they brought in, you really, so I really
The
appreciate
number
it.
of comparisons is really 13 versus 20.
Yeah, so this is where people are living. This is where people are living, is what you're telling me. And so, not only is the percentage lower, but look at the dollar changes. A 10% raise on 100 is better than a 10% raise on 50. Everybody, you guys get it?
Thank you for clarifying.
All right, I'll see you guys later. All right, how about this? I'm almost done. Only five more to go. So, this is the president's leadership team. This comes right from the website. I didn't make this up. And I wrote this question, is the academic voice strong enough? These are the positions.
There's one.
It's possible, though, that some of these other people are academics, but, okay, I just said it's possible. You don't have to give me that kind of no, I just said it's possible. Crowds get a little rougher, I know I'm in New York. I can handle it, by the way. I'm a Mets fan, for heaven's sake.
You're not telling us we need to hire more academic people there.
Well, seriously, the voice isn't here. It's not there. It's not in the room. So it's not, that's why the percent towards,
Yeah, it's interesting, please be corrected, because I don't remember the details. But when we went to the provost model, this cabinet team was actually reduced for a while, and then it was increased again, and it was probably designed to weaken the academic voice.
sure. And plus, they also looked at everyone's organization chart. They all, the provost is also typically the only one in the room. All right, independent contractors in the 990, they tell you who they give money to, the five largest outsiders they give money to, and how many contractors get more than 100,000. A lot of money flowing through this list of that means. And the construction tells me they're building lots. All part of the story. Last thing, other metrics, good news, I'm ending on only good news here. Degrees conferred seems to be going up. Bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, research. The one that's going down, of course, are the law school enrollment nationally is really going down. Not down as much here as elsewhere. But that's the yellow. Graduation rates are very strong, actually. They're very high. And you'll see the peers are setting up, the peers aren't good. The 4-year rate, the 6-year rate, the 1-year retention rate, these are all pretty strong. You know, there's not much. At my place, our 4-year rate to show out is 8%. So I live in a very different place. And our 6-year rate is about 39%. And the administration thinks that's great. Yeah, they think 39% is good, and that's just absurd. But that's what, but you guys saw, I'm very impressed with that. That's a pretty good rate. This is, again, me getting fancy with two different axes. So this is the percent receiving Pell Grants. And the correlation between the graduation and Pell rate, that means the higher the graduation rate, the lower the percentage of Pell Grant recipients. You with me on this? So you didn't get that one, let's say that one. So the fewer Pell Grant students you have, the higher your graduation rate. So, Fordham's kind of in the middle, tiers of both. So you can see like all of Chicago has the highest percentage of students receiving Pell, but the lowest. And to have a correlation that strong with only 7 data points, and everywhere it's the same thing. Everywhere we go, it's the same thing. So that's it. Thank you. So we're going to entertain any other comments, questions, and how we're going to use this to act collectively.
And we're hoping our colleagues down at Lincoln Center will have the opportunity to ask questions.
Oh, there they go, okay. Someone goes to the mic, will you in?
Is there anyone down at Lincoln Center who has a question?
Is that Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
I made it.
That is Chris.
I can see you.
Hi, Chris. Questions, comments, anywhere, here or there? Yes?
Hi, we've moved into talking about negotiation. Are we being badly served by our choice of peer and aspirant institutions?
That's a very good question.
Because you notice the difference in the salaries. When we look at the peer and aspirant institutions, which are tending to overpay administrators, as opposed to the higher end institutions.
I should have, I made a note for it myself, and I should have said it. I think you guys need to look at, you need to do a full peer analysis. That the faculty salary management committee or some ADP, someone should do a study on who our peers should be. Because I'm not, whether you think these are the right ones or not, let's look at this again. And don't, you don't look at them and say we're going to pick the one with the highest salary or the lowest salary. You look at what makes sense. You guys know better than anyone. But there's ways to do it. At my place, we had an entire arbitration hearing for our peers with an independent arbitrator. And that's how important we think it is in the collective bargaining system. But it's clearly critical here. It's clearly an important factor here. So many of you have mentioned it. So my view is that you should, on your own, without even asking, undergo an analysis. And if you want me to help, I'd love to help you guys do that. Figure out who the peers of board members should be. This whole thing of peer and aspirant, they might, just tell me who your peers are. Don't give me who you want to be. Don't tell me who you think you're better than. Just tell me who it should be. And let's figure it out. It's an empirical question. Let's answer it. And let's use that knowledge. Let's use the right empirical analysis and do it the right way. I think you guys should do it internally and not. And then, and then bring it to them. You guys have done that before, right? You've done your own stuff and brought it to them. You have history doing it. So let's do that again. Yes, in the back, everybody.
Yeah, I was really struck by something you said earlier, where you encourage us not to sort of have competing campuses or competing schools, and just to have faculty fight against each other. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. On the other hand, it seems clear that there are certain statistical areas where drilling down and separating, law or business or whatever might actually be useful to us. Do you have a suggestion of what are the places where that kind of detailed study would be most effective for making arguments? And do you have also negotiating suggestions or suggestions from other places about how to do that without it being a divisive?
Very insightful. Been negotiating in a lot of places for a long time. It never works. We're never good at separating out this versus that. It's just too hard. Look, we know the differences. In fact, the fact book here, I think, has the differences in all that stuff. And the salaries are clear. Everyone can see the salary difference. And obviously, I'm a business school professor, so maybe I'm biased. But my view is the way we deal with it. You asked me negotiation. The way we deal with it is we negotiate promotion increments at a dollar base to help people who are lower paid. And plus, most of our salary increases we negotiate are combination raises and a percentage of flat dollar. So because when you get a flat dollar percentage raise for everybody, that helps people more at the bottom. When you get a percentage raise, to answer the obvious, when everyone gets a 3% raise, it's going to help the people at the top more than, so a combination raise of $1,500 plus 1.2% is a way to do it. The other way, and the other thing, you know, if you're asking, if they start imposing healthcare increases on you, think about this. If they start increasing your premiums, a premium increase for a person in discipline versus that discipline really does matter. So one of the things we have done, you're asking me successfully, is some places have the premiums as a percentage of salary and not the same dollar amount for everybody, if you don't understand what I'm saying. So these are some of the things that we've done in the collective bargaining realm, which you guys can do here, to help people and recognize that if you increase a premium on someone making $60,000 versus someone making $160,000, the same dollar premium, that really hurts that person at 60 a lot more. So let's recognize that by having it as a percentage. And the other thing, if I can get detailed into healthcare, the deductibles and co-insurance are also flat dollars. You could make those smaller because deductibles and co-insurance hurt people who are sick. You have to pay them when you're sick or your family member is sick. You don't choose the illness for your son or your daughter or your spouse or yourself. It happens. So because of that, you make those as low as possible and try to share the risk over, make it real insurance as opposed to if you're sick, you pay for it, kind of thing. And you can negotiate that in the way there's no rules on how these healthcare plans are designed. You know, you guys have in your statute, you guys have said about this. It says it right there. Now you're laughing. You may not get to, but it says it. I read it. Did I not read it? You guys are giving me this look like you know what to do. It's just a matter of getting it done and collective action. Yes, in the front row.
I have a question about the baseline year, the number of years. I was thinking about your statistic about healthcare costs. And so the long one was 28% to 43%, the 3-year was 40 to 43%. So it obviously matters what base year you use for the percentage increase or something over time. So how do you work through that and what kind of thinking would you put behind that?
That's a good question. With healthcare, with all this stuff, the reason I use, for most of these, I'm using 08 because that's 1 year before the recession. That's what I typically been using. And so basically that makes it go longer, but as time goes on, but it's fine. I think with healthcare, you want to go back as far as you can. Now, I hear that here at Fordham, you guys had a change in the types of plans that were offered just 2 or 3 years ago, right? Is that you went to a different provider,
Different cost sharing.
and different cost sharing, but still, I think in the same PPO general framework. So, to me, the way to do it is we do every plan. Okay, so there's a PPO, there's an HMO, there's a POS, if there's an indemnity, if there's HSA, whatever it is. So every plan, you find out how many people are on it, and then you find out their costs, and you look at it over time. It has to be that. That's the way it takes away, because when you look at it in total, you miss a lot of that. You have different plan choices here. And there's also the issue of, the big issue, what we see today in academia is single versus employee only versus family or versus other. The trend is to make it cheaper for you, but if you want to bring anyone else from your family on there, we're really just sticking to you. Is that true here too? Not so much yet, just wait. So these are things you will, so that's the way to attack it. And then, as I was listening this morning, they're trying to get, and they're going to be successful, because Andrew, I think, said, just tell me what you need and I'll get it. I think, paraphrase, it doesn't doubt what you said. In response to the inquiry about the healthcare data. If you could get individual plan data, not individual, but for this plan, how many, a single, 2-person family, and then what's the average cost of those groups for each plan for the last 5 years? And then you got it. And then what you'll show, I promise you, and that these 22 we bargained with ourselves down to 15 is completely bogus because it's never been there. So it's magically going to turn that way when it's not been that way for the last 5 years, until, let's say 5 years, and no one's predicting 17 is going to be there, and all of a sudden you're saying it is? So that's how you get it. Yes? Yes?
You talked about aspirin. Who's doing it right?
Who's doing it?
Because when we go into these meetings with the administration, they'll close the horizons on us and say, well, you know, Villanova's got the same percentage, but you seem to be arguing that there is a different way to do it, or
Yeah,
a
there's
different
different ways to
model.
make, get the right peers. I think, don't let, they control the peer discussion.
Yeah,
You have to control it. You, the faculty, the reason I suggest doing the study, and when I say, what do? You look at enrollment, you look at endowment size, you look at discount rate, you look at percent spent on this, you look at all these factors.
Right.
You know, percent Pell Grant, graduate, you have them all.
Yeah.
We all know how to use them. Most of us know how to just throw things in. They have programs that spit things out. You guys all know what they are, and they'll spit out answers for you. And that's what we do. But what will happen, you know, you walk into a meeting, if you do what I said, what I promised to help you with, you'll know more than them. You'll know more than them. And once you know more than them about these peers and who the peers should be, that's half the game. You think they're looking at this stuff? They have that list and that's it.
That's true.
Because they're busy. They got that salaries. They're doing a lot. They can't be looking at data. Yes.
Just in terms of the aspirant and the tier institutions, they like putting our salaries up against those and showing that we're competitive. But when you factor in where we're living versus them, we actually end up on the bottom.
Yeah, and I showed how bad that is.
And when you give them that information, they completely dismiss it.
Of course, that's exactly what you told me this morning.
But the people in the room should know that they've seen that list, that we end up on the bottom of the list when you do the CPR or the adjustment for cost of living. They're not really interested. So even if we were to generate our own peer aspirants.
I think that's different. Let me tell you why I disagree there. I think I've seen it everywhere. Even in the collective bargaining room, we give them this cost of living stuff, they just laugh at us. They ignore us. Yeah, that's true. Next. But the peer thing is different because it really goes to the heart of who we are and who we think we're like. And cost of living has a certain, you know, we chose to live in the New York City area, but the peer list, we're going to look at this, we're going to take a really hard look from an empirical basis, not just take the inflation and adjust it here. We're going to really look at who our peers are. I think that's different. And I think who you are, and the law school, you know, I know, you know, in the law school, you know, into a lot of law schools, they also have a different way of doing it. They may want a different tier list for them. And given the way, given the way law school, especially law school enrollment is going, they may have a different take on it. But you guys need to look at this yourselves. I think it will make a difference.
Just so that people in the room have a frame of reference, they have recently given to the people in salary benefit a comparison of our salaries against this collected batch of salaries. And they're arguing, for example, that the history professors here, for example, are making an average of 100,000, but the average that they actually presented us with was 70,000.
Yeah, they're using the Oklahoma State Salary Survey, in all likelihood.
And it includes institutions that in no way
are close to you
resemble
guys.
Fordham.
Yeah, and the Oklahoma State Salary Survey
colleges
is a huge number of
cooking schools, you know.
So we want them that. So that's why it's even more incumbent upon this group to address the young man's point over there. You've got to make your own peer list and get the cooking schools out. Nothing against cooking schools.
Also, an additional thing, I think trend lines for us are very revealing.
Of course.
Because if you go over 10 or 20 years, not necessarily salaries, but when you look at all of the other things, we were better than the crowd about 15 years ago. And now we've descended to being average for the crowd. I think that may be
If you've lost ground in salary, there's no doubt about it. Yes?
Just something you said, and maybe it was a minor, but you kept saying, why is this other line increasing? And
It's a rhetorical question, if I may. Look, instruction, we'll talk about instruction versus institutional support. So instruction is the main instruction line, and institution is the main admin line. The other component of instruction is getting bigger, to make total instruction look bigger. The other component of admin is getting smaller, to make it look small. So to me, I find that curious. And then when we focused on just the salary part of it, we see the salary part of admin going up way more than the salary part of instruction. So that's the point of it. I'm not saying they intentionally did anything, but I'll use the word curious. Yes?
Do you have suggestions about how to address faculty service that, of course, is sometimes compensated in kind with course reduction here or symbolic honoraria, but often goes under the big umbrella service and actually overlaps with administration? You can think of it conceptually like directing a program, chairing a department, etc.
I certainly have views on this, and the key is fairness and transparency. I think there are deals that are made, even at unionized places, that some people in one department will get a course release for doing some sort of directorship work or other work that someone who's doing that same work does not get a course release for. So my view on all this is every faculty member in every department should see all the releases.